All right, what's going on, everyone? Swing Your Bull here with PB Alerts. Welcome to my earnings stream. I do every week. Been doing it every week for quite a while now. Live on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, and here in the Discord. SPY, kind of a sloppy day, to be honest with you. Pre-market started off good, then sold off. And then we had kind of a sloppy opening move, and then sold off. Then we rallied quite a bit, and then retraced back down, and now it's rallying again. So it's kind of doing the worm today. But we did make some money on the opening move. I actually made some money around lunchtimes, scalping SPY like a ninja. Each trade just lasted a few minutes, but brought in a few $100s. Ended up using a portion of the profit I made today to purchase some SPY put debit spreads for a hedge trade, kind of a downside play to help protect some of the positions I'm long on right now. But let's get to why we're here today. Well, let me just go over this real quick. S&P is officially in the green, 0.38%. The NASDAQ up 0.8%. NASDAQ actually doing a little better than SPY. The Dow, which is basically industrial stocks, they're basically flat today. So anyways, just want a quick recap on that. The two stocks that have earnings today, the first one is NCNO. That's the ticker symbol. And that's nCino is the company name, or technology services company, package software company. So they actually report at, oops, let me go back here. nCino reports at 4:05 p.m. Eastern. All right, so we just got a few more minutes to burn before we get that. The forecast EPS is 0.19, and the forecast revenue is 140.6 million, and they're trading below their anchored VWAP. Anchored VWAP's around $32, $33 around there. And of course, NCNO closed the regular session at $28.12. They were up 2.3% on the day. I'm going to zoom into the 1 minute chart on here. It looks like we're getting a little bit of volatility, some pre-earnings volatility leading up to the announcement. Let me just get my other screen ready to go. So when EPS and revenue comes in, I can provide that to everyone on YouTube. So I'll get that ready. Still got a few more minutes. The other stock is SPWH, which is Sportsman's Warehouse. Don't think I've ever really heard of them before today, but this is a penny stock. They closed the regular session at 96 cents a share, and they have earnings at, let me just go here. Oops. Too many pop-up ads. Same time, 4:05 p.m. Eastern. So we'll get both of these earnings data for both these companies at the same time. Their forecast EPS is negative 0.08. The forecast revenue is 330.9 million, and they are also trading well below their anchored VWAP. Like I said, they closed the regular session at 96 cents. Anchored VWAP is probably around 180, 190 a share. So we'll see what the data comes in at, and see if any of these stocks get a reaction to the stock price. Let me go ahead and get the other screens ready. So like I say, when the data comes in, I'll give that to everybody. Just got a few more minutes. Let me go back to the sticks here. We'll go 1 minute chart on TradingView. Okay, here we go. We'll do the same thing on Sportsman Watch. We got about 2 more minutes. Let me go back to SPY just real quick. We'll go 5 minute chart on SPY. Triple Qs. Okay, so basically got a little rally into the close here on both SPY and QQQ. Kind of pumped into the close, so we'll see. Both indexes are nice and green right now. We got about 45 more seconds before we technically get the data for these two stocks that have earnings. Go Webull chart real quick. NCNO coming into the earnings had a PE ratio in the negative 148. That was the forecast PE, and EPS negative 0.15. So NCNO, just at first glance, not really good fundamentals. Just if you're looking at PE ratio and the EPS, they don't pay a dividend. Free float's around 111 million. Let's check some other things here. Let's see, income statement. Yeah, their year-over-year numbers have been improving, but the last 5 quarters, they were only profitable one of those quarters. On the annual kind of looks a bit rough. So NCNO, not really good financials, if you ask me. But if you zoom into the quarterly, like I say, the year-over-year numbers are nice and green, so maybe there's something there. Balance sheet, debt to asset, only 27%. That's actually really good. So that is a positive thing. Their debt to asset ratio is pretty low. That's good. They got plenty of assets to cover their debt. And they got over 250 million in cash and equivalents. So they got cash. Their cash position has been increasing quarter after quarter. So that's good to see. So not all bad on NCNO, but there's some issues with them being able to pull a profit. But like I say, their year-over-year numbers are pretty good. So maybe they're heading in the right direction to finally be able to get some profit, on one of these earnings. So we'll see. Okay, it's officially 4:06 p.m. So we are getting the reactions on both of these stocks. Looks like they're kind of doing the opposite of each other. We just went over NCNO financials and fundamentals. Like I say, not too impressive, but year-over-year numbers are getting better. That's really the only good thing, and low debt to asset. But other than that, company just has it's having issues pulling a profit quarter after quarter. So we're getting a negative reaction on that right now. They're down 11% in after hours. Let's flip over to SPWH real quick. This was the penny stock. We just had an initial reaction up to $1.29 after closing the regular session at 96 cents. Kind of pulling back a little bit now. Let's just kind of keep our eye on it. Looks like we definitely got selling pressure on NCNO. So if you had any bearish positions on this, maybe someone did a bearish lotto trade for earnings. It looks like you're going to be pretty good on those. Down $5 a share right now on after hours. Hold on 1 second. Someone's calling my phone. Let me just mute them real quick. All right, let me grab this other phone. I got too many phones in this office. Okay, so negative reaction on NCNO. Let me see if I got some data on that. EPS, revenue, maybe some forward guidance, that kind of stuff. Just give me 1 second. Let me refresh my other screen. Okay, let's see here. Oh, Pookie posted for me on Twitter. Thank you, sir. All right, got some Q4 results and guidance. This is NCNO. Just going to go over a couple of things. So they reported Q4 revenue of 141.4 million. It is up 14% year over year. It is slightly above the forecast. Forecast was 141.1 million. And so the data came in at 141.4 million. So nothing fantastical. I mean, they barely beat it. Subscription revenue grew 16% to 125 million, topping the 123.7 million forecast. Okay. Investors are not taking this well, though. EPS was 0.12. That was actually down from 0.21 on a year-over-year basis. So their EPS didn't really come in line. And also it was well below their 0.17 consensus. So they missed EPS by quite a bit here. Let me just see if their forecast was 0.17. They came in at 0.12. So they missed by 0.05. But 0.05 divided by 0.17. Yeah, they missed EPS by like 30%. So maybe that's why investors are reacting negatively here. Let me read a couple other stuff. a couple other things for Q1. nCino provided guidance projecting revenue between 138.8 million. That is short of the estimate for the guidance was 145 million. So that's probably where we're getting the negative reaction on nCino. They lowered their guidance for Q1. Let me see if they have a fiscal year guidance here. Let me see. So they lowered guidance on projected revenue. Okay, so we got that. And the subscription revenue, the new guidance is 121.8 million, and the estimate for the guidance was 126 million. So they lowered guidance on subscription revenue. They lowered guidance on projected revenue, and also let me see, adjusted EPS 0.15 to 0.16. The guidance for the EPS was 0.19. So they lowered guidance on three fronts. For fiscal year, company guided revenue between 574 million and 578 million. The estimate for that guidance before they announced those numbers was 612 million. So they literally lowered guidance on almost all fronts. That's why it's down almost $5 a share. It's down 17%. Anytime a company messes with their guidance to the downside, they lower the guidance basically. 9 times out of 10, you're going to get a negative reaction, and that's what we're seeing with NCNO. So that kind of sums up what's going on with NCNO. They did beat revenue, which was 14% year-over-year growth. However, they missed EPS by 30%. They totally missed that one, and they lowered guidance on several line items on the guidance. So again, that basically just sums up what's going on with nCino's earnings right now. Let me see if I can get something to post on the bottom of the screen of YouTube. I guess I'll put the let me put the guidance in there. Q1. I'm going to do the I'll just put the Q1 guidances, or I'll do fiscal year. That'll be better because that really paints the bigger picture, the fiscal year guidance. Let me just put this in here. So NCNO. Okay. Paste that. All right, there we go. I'll put this on the bottom of my screen. It doesn't look like I'll be able to fit the whole message, but at least it's some data there in case anyone jumps in and they were wondering about the data. That's that kind of sums up right there. I think the guidance just paints the whole picture. Let me go back here a little bit. Hold on one second. 4:12 p.m. Eastern. And I'll get the data for SPWH. Okay. This is a little cleaner here. Let me post this on YouTube instead of what I got posted here, because it makes basically the EPS and revenue data for Q4, right? So give me 1 second. There we go. All right, that looks a little bit better there. All right. So let me switch over to SPWH, because looks like we listen. We got our reaction on nCino. It's a bearish reaction. I'm going to go ahead and say congrats to the bears on that one. So let's switch over to SPWH because they're up over 30%. Oh, they're kind of booming right now. Look at this. They're up. They're catching a bid. SPWH, Sportsman's Warehouse. Let me get some data for them because this seems to be the more exciting one. I mean, it is a penny stock. I probably would invest in NCNO before I would SPWH, like if it was a longer term trade, just because I don't really trade penny stocks too much unless I'm just scalping them or something. Okay, SPWH earnings are out. Thank you, Alpha Sense, for posting that. Credit to them. Net sales were 340 million. Let's see here. It was a decrease from the same period of time a year prior, but let's see here. They had an additional week of operations in the fourth quarter of 2023, which contributed to 27 million of additional revenue. So that was kind of the difference why that was kind of out of whack there. But let's look at something else. Let's see here. Their EPS came in at 0.04, so they got their EPS in the positive. And that's a very nice improvement, because in the fourth quarter of 2023, they were negative EPS, like negative 20. So they actually came in 0.04 in the positive. So that was a nice beat on the EPS for SPWH. Let's see what else, other info we got. Let me just read some things from the upper management here. So we were pleased that our quarterly trends continued to improve, with same-store sales down slightly in the fourth quarter on a year-over-year comparable 13-week basis, said Paul Stone, the president and CEO. The business also continues to outpace the adjusted NICS data, suggesting that we are taking share in outselling the industry in our core hunting and shooting sports category. The changes that we implemented earlier in the year to improve the in-store experience and refine our merchandise to meet the needs of local and seasonal demand are paying off. We ended the year with lower and cleaner than forecasted inventory, so that's positive, and generated positive cash flow for the full year. So that actually some really good statements being said by the CEO. And he continued to say, for 2025, so this is going to be more of the guidance, we expect to see a return to comparable same-store sales growth while we continue to navigate a challenging macroeconomic backdrop. Our key initiatives for the year will be centered on our unique role in the market to build strong community connections and be the local choice for hunting and fishing solutions, which is the DNA of Sportsman's warehouse. Our strategic edge is that we have the scale to out-assort the local independents and out-local the big box competitors, making some kind of big statements there. Through a disciplined merchandising approach to win the seasons, we believe we are well positioned to take a greater share of the growing outdoor market. So they're making some real colorful statements here about the future, and it seems investors are definitely liking that. And they generated positive cash flow for the full year last year. So good stuff. SPWH, I mean, I'm gonna go ahead and say congrats to the Bulls. This thing's up 50% in after hours. This closed the regular session at 96 cents a share, trading at $1.40 right now. It's pulling back a little bit, but I mean, it's still kind of holding up. So we can go 1 minute chart. It's made two legs up. We got the initial move right when the earnings came out. It pulled back probably about 50%, and then it started going for a new after hours high, which it did in fact do. And now it's pulling back again. So are we going to get a third leg up on this? If you're trying to scalp this in after hours, not financial advice, but this will be an easy third leg up trade here. Keep your stop loss. I'd say comfortable stop loss, maybe right below $1.30. Of course, stop loss orders don't work in after hours, so you're going to have to just do a manual stop loss with a limit order. Just have the ticket pulled up, and if this thing goes below 130, you can just get rid of your shares. But nice tight risk on it, I think. If this does go for a third leg up, we're basically, like I say, again, the stop right below 130, I think would be safe. Maybe you can get a nice clean scalp on it in after hours. Trading at $1.45. So if your stop's around 130, I don't even got to do the calculator on that. What's that? Your risk is only 10% on that trade, with the potential to, if this makes a third leg up, you'd really be onto something there. Let me just see what some of the levels are on the bigger time frames. It's trading at 147 now, so that puts the price up here a little bit. So it kind of, there was a level of interest around $1.40 on this stock. And it's trading just above that right now. So it's broken through that. Seems to be holding for the time being. But yeah, this thing could be in the 170s. Probably would be the next level of interest, probably around the 170s. So you have a 10% risk to the downside with like what's that going to be, like 40 points? So maybe 10% risk to the downside with like a 30% upside. So that'd be like a 1 to 3 risk reward if you're trying to scalp it in after hours. But again, just be careful. I'm using the 1 minute chart, so take it with the grain of salt. But yeah, for this to have a third leg up, we really want this to hold 130, I would think. So, but yeah, that's just kind of my opinion on that. NCNO, let's go back to that just for a second. Initial reaction was a negative reaction. It's trying to bottom out now. Looks like there could be a few buyers in the low $20 range that are kind of keeping this a little bit stable here. So just keep your eye on it. What we want to see is for this to start making higher lows and, to kind of solidify that a bottom is in fact in. But you can probably pop a Fibonacci on this. 25% retrace is around $23.40. It's trading at $22.88 right now. So would definitely like it to retrace at least 25% and hold above there to give me confidence that this is in fact starting to claw back and form a bottom. So yeah, so I'd be watching for NCNO to get back above 23.40, and maybe it's on to something. Then it can start making some higher lows. If not, obviously going to come down to 21.79, test the low in after hours, and potentially go lower if it can't get back above 23.40. So that's just technical analysis thinking there for you. SPWH, again, just to kind of recap that, how I would trade that. Stop loss right below 130, 10% risk. Next stop on this could very well be 170s, and that should be a decent gain to the upside with a nice tight risk. Let me just check the Discord here. Yeah, Porterhouse said, get your fiber and nachos ready. Yeah, I'm going to put a Fibonacci on this one too. Just want to see where that. Okay, so it had 2 legs up now, but I'm going to draw the top of the fib up to the second leg up high, which is $1.58 a share. You can see here it bounced pretty cleanly off the 38% fib level. That's around $1.35 a share. And it's kind of just sitting right here around $1.40 a share. So like I say, I definitely wouldn't want this going below 130 if you're thinking of having a chance of this, maybe capitalizing on a third leg up, if you will. But yeah, looks like we got our reactions. Again, NCNO, negative reaction. They reduced forward guidance on like 4 or 5 different line items. So investors really don't like what's going on there. SPWH, they put out some pretty powerful statements about their guidance and how, and they did have a positive free cash flow last year. And there was some positive things going on with SPWH, and investors are reacting positively to that price action there. So yeah, let me just maybe go over a couple of trades I did in the Discord recently. And then, yeah, that would probably be a solid stream there. I did open up some SPY put debit spreads this afternoon. This trade here is a downside trade. I am currently long on a handful of stocks, some favorite stocks of mine that I like wheeling. So this trade is just so if there is more downside in the market, I can make money on the downside. And I decided to use SPY put debit spreads. They only cost me $36 each for $1 wide spread. Potential profit is $64 a spread, plus you get your $36 back. So that's a 177% potential return on capital. I gotta fix that. It's actually return on capital, not return on risk. Return on risk. Well, yeah, it is return on risk because we're risking 36 to make 64 profit. So that gets us 177 potential return. That's if there's more downside on SPY. I just want to be able to make some money on the downside if that happens. So I did that. And the reason why I opened that today is because I did just take profit. These are some of my other short options that are started to print today. I like writing, selling to open and writing contracts, being on that side of the transaction. That's mainly what I do in the Discord. Made some nice money on some HIMEX short calls. Those were nice. Opened up some $4.50 cash secured puts on JetBlue. I would not mind owning shares of JetBlue at $4.50. And I kind of sniped the bottom on that one because those are already starting to print a little bit. And then this was the SPY put debit spreads I had open leading into today. Made 120 bucks. You know, didn't get rich on it, but hey, I wouldn't have made that 120 if I didn't have that in place. So it's a win for me. And let me see what other trades we did here. These were some other spreads, $20 a spread on those per lot size, if you will. And what was the other trade? Because I had, oh yeah, I cashed out. It was we're doing the press on JetBlue. I'm doing that with the Traders Paradise people. This was just a few days ago. I had some longer dated puts on JetBlue. I got almost 200 bucks on that. And then I was using those longer dated puts to sell weekly options. So I was using those longer dated puts as collateral. They were dated for June. And then every single week I've been rinsing and repeating weekly trades on JetBlue. And you can see here, I'm usually target like 100 to 150 a week is what I've been able to squeeze out of this. And these are just some of the trades that I'm alerting to my members in the Discord group. So we have a lot of fun, you know, and like I say, I've been really preaching a lot the past month about hedging. You know, if you currently have long positions, don't just sit on the sidelines and watch them bleed out on you. Open up a trade that goes in the opposite direction, and I'm telling you from experience, you'll immediately start feeling better about things, especially if there's further downside in the markets. So you got to be able to trade both ways. You know, it's not just calls all the time. You know, I'm bullish all the time. You know, I know my name is the swinging bull, but you know, sometimes I'm the swinging bear if I have to be. All right. But yeah, that kind of sums up what's going on. NCNO, negative reaction, trying to form a bottom. Just look for higher lows to start printing. SPWH, it already had 2 legs up. It's pulling back a little bit now. There could possibly be a 3rd leg up there somewhere. Again, on the downside, would just like that to hold. I'm thinking around 130, maybe high 120s. We don't want it falling below there. All right. But yeah, that's what we got. Let me go back to the triple Qs and SPY just real quick. I just want to see what they're doing in after hours here. Okay, QQQ is pulling back a little bit. Kind of spotty price action though, but of course volume dies down a little bit in after hours. Same thing with SPY. They kind of look the same. So, but yeah, my name's the Swinging Bull. Like I said, I mainly do the advanced options trading in the Discord with your multi-leg options. You know, on one trade ticket, you know, 2 to 4 legs. You know. So we do a lot of debit spreads. I do a lot of credit spreads. I run a ton of the wheel strategy on my favorite stocks, and then do some iron condor, some inverse iron condors, which would basically be a long iron condor, where we pay a debit on the onset of the trade instead of collecting a credit, which would be a traditional iron condor. But I like doing the long iron condors for earnings if we're expecting a big move on the underlying stuff like that. So all kinds of the spreading bull. Yeah, maybe that could be my new name. But you know, if maybe you don't do, you know, multi-leg options trades, you know, sometimes it's a bit much for some people, and maybe you like to just keep it a little more simpler. If you just trade the opening move, you know, maybe you just trade options in the morning, opening move deal. Coach Ethan, he's our option day trader. He basically makes his money in the morning and then he's done for the day. Really, it's a beautiful thing. So that's Coach Ethan. So go see him. If you just swing trade stock and equity, then you're going to go see Coach Mad Maverick. That's what he specializes in. So, you know, we got something for everyone. And then also one of our new staff members, Coach Jasmine, she's kind of more of the technical analysis coach. She trades a lot of Forex, which is going to be your currency pairs. And then she trades a lot of commodities and stuff like that, like gold, silver, and stuff like that. So great to have that addition to the team as well. So as you can see, we got something for everyone. And again, my name's the Swinging Bull with PB Alerts. If you're looking for a new home, check the links in the description. You can join. We have the link for free. You can just join the free section, see how you like it, and go from there. If you just want to jump right into my coaching, I think it's like $30 a month or something. I'll make that back for you on the very first trade, no probs. You can just jump in head first with me in the coaching if you want to. Then, of course, if you want the whole premium package, then there's a link there for that. But, you know, Again, if you're looking for a new home, check us out. And if you do end up joining, just tag me in the chat. I'll come say hello, and definitely looking forward to meeting you. But I hope everyone enjoys the rest of their night, and I'll see everyone in the next stream. Cheers. Bye.